Yeah.
What made you want to do this? Like, what was your
You know,
like motivator?
I think that so this has just been like burning a hole in the back of my brain for the last year. And I just keep it keeps coming back to me that like first of all, it would be interesting to just sort of have this conversation with the wives or girlfriends, And I think it's just that it is so crazy what we do on the wife side of things that I
Yeah.
just wanted to, you know, I think the women feel not that they feel unappreciated but I don't think people understand, and like I just want these girls to feel loved on and valued, and hear their funny stories, because we all have such like crazy stories on the road. And what is it actually like? I think there's something that anyone could take from like hearing your stories about Joey, and that you guys are just normal people, and
100.
you love each
Yeah.
other, and you have
Yeah.
highs and lows, and people would be so take so much from that, like even
Yeah.
Joey and me have hard days, and then like to glorify your amazing days too. And so I don't know, I just something about it, it's definitely been a God thing that I've felt like I don't know why I feel the need to do this, but I just want to, and I'm just kind of jumping in, and I don't know what I'm doing with it,
I
but
love it. Isn't that funny how God does that? Like, he really does. He just puts something on your heart and you just feel so called to do that. I feel like we've had that this year too, and like with a few things, and it does. It's like a pull. It's really strange. Like, I try to explain it to people, and it's like it's just a pull. You just feel it in your heart. Like, you have to do something. So
yeah.
that's really cool. I love that.
I love that. I that's like the coolest thing when you get those sort of nudges from God, and you want
Yeah.
to just I don't know what this is going to entail. And I think something for me is I've just thought I'm not going to let the enemy weasel their way into my brain, and I'm going to just go for it. I'm going to just try
Yeah.
to let it be,
Yeah.
and
And
you know,
trust, right? Like, just trust him. And you don't know where it's going to lead, like what path it's going to take you on, but at least you're taking like the first steps, right? Like, that's what me and Joey talked about this year. Like, we're
yeah,
just going to take the first steps toward something that we believe in, and we don't know where it's going to lead us, but it's going to lead us somewhere good, we hope, because I don't
yeah.
think it'll lead us in a bad direction. And it's going to be, things are going to be hard, but we're just going to do it and trust him. And that's really hard to do. So I think that's awesome.
If you care to share, like what are some of the things you guys have felt that lately? You say you've had that
Yeah.
feeling.
So we haven't shared honestly this with anybody. So we have 3 kids. We have Hudson, he just turned 7. We have Jameson, he's 4, and then we have Amelia. Her birthday's tomorrow. She's going to be 3.
Oh,
Our foundation is for foster care, and we've met a lot of foster parents that have been amazing. My mom was in foster care. We've worked with a lot of great organizations, and so we've kind of always had this like, maybe we should like adopt, maybe we should do foster care, maybe we should,
yeah,
and it's one of those things. I feel like you say, a lot of people say, oh well, maybe one day, because things are
yeah.
hard. They travel, the kids are still young. And then we went to church one day, and I remember them talking about adoption, and it happened like 2 times. I was like, oh gosh. And I felt like it was just like this pull, and we were in a room one of the times, and there was probably 25 people, and our church is a lot of older people. And there was a person that went up and talked about adoption, and they were like, there's somebody in this room that is meant to adopt. And I remember looking at Joey, and we looked around the room, and everyone was old. I was like, well, I said, not saying that
Yes,
old people
babe.
can't adopt. I said, old people can definitely adopt. But I was like, I don't know. I said, I feel like this is really like literally, he's like talking to just us, is how we
Yeah.
both felt. And we kind of, to be honest, we kind of ignored it. That was over a year ago. And then we met with Amy and Nick Terry. And Nick actually married us, and Amy is in that world of foster care and adoption. And we just kind of talked, and we got more educated on it. And we researched a lot, and we still said no. We still did not follow him. I'll be honest. We were like, this is just too much, because I was like, I don't know how we're gonna do something like this. Like, you're gone so much. we have a good support system around us. Like I have my mom and we have his parents and my dad and people around us. But you know, on the weekends, it's still, it's mainly, it's you. Like you're the mom, the dad, kind of everybody for everyone. And even when we travel, like when we travel, the guys have to work and they have their thing. And so then it's just you're doing the same thing, but you're on the road and you kind of just see them at night when you go to bed, you know? You're still kind of by yourself. And so I'm like, and our middle one is a handful. So I was like, I just feel like this is not for us. And it's kind of the same thing. We just keep feeling pulled and we keep meeting people along the way. And so we went to a foundation event this last year at one of our organizations that they put on, Least of These. And it was another one of those speeches about like, they need foster parents and you need to help and you could be one of those people. So I called the founder of Least of These, Susanna, and I was like, okay, like just spill it to me. Like, what do we need to do? We're just going to start the process and see where that leads us. Because I think God is telling us just to take the first steps. I don't think that we need to make a total decision, but he's just telling us we need to start. And so she connected us with some more people and we just started. Like we just, so over the off season, that was our goal, was just to get our license. And so we have everything submitted. We haven't been approved yet or anything. But it was a process. Like it was a lot. And I think it was, no matter what, I told Joey, I think it was good for us just to do, working with the organizations, working with the foster parents, and just a newfound respect, like for everybody, because it's a lot more than I anticipated, like the amount of time that you have to put in, the amount of like certificates and things that you have to do. And not saying you shouldn't have to do those things, because having a kid is a big commitment. But I also feel like in some ways, me and Joey have talked, I feel like there needs to be some sort of reform done with this whole process, and just, you know, people that maybe have kids, like a fast track of some sort, like maybe they talk to the schools and see how the kids are at school and their hygiene, and make sure that you're a good parent, do the background checks and everything. But it's a huge process and a huge undertaking. And I just feel like for people that work full time, I can see why there's not as many foster parents. It's because it's a big time commitment just to get your license. And so I think, like I said, it was just a new, fresh perspective on everything, if anything else. And so, yeah, so we took the first steps and we'll just see where that lands us, I guess.
So exciting. I can't even imagine. I mean, what a blessing you guys would be to foster a child. I mean, that's just so cool that you're following that, your gut about that you guys want to do that. That's something Ty and I have talked about, and I don't know that we're in that season right now where we're getting that nudge like you certainly are. So that's really cool. I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah,
And
you're seriously like the first person I think we've told in NASCAR. Because I also told Joey, I feel like this is one of those things that it's like between you and God and between us and God. And it didn't need to be something like a spectacle or something that needed to be talked about. But at the same time, going through it, I do feel like I see a need for it. I see a need for reform, I think, in the system. And I think that if we can be even a bigger advocate than we already are for the foster kids and parents, I was like, I think that we can share that, you know, and we're a little bit more educated on it. So I don't think it's a bad thing to share, you know.
no, I mean, I think that is so beautiful that you want to share that, and you don't have to share that. Just if there's ever anything, you know, that you don't, but I want to honor you. I don't want you to feel like I'm pulling anything out of you, or I don't
Oh,
want
no, not at all.
commercial out of you. You know, like I just want
Yeah.
you to feel comfortable and us to just chat. But that is so beautiful. I mean, do you think that you would foster to adopt? Is that the whole concept? I'm very new to the
Yeah.
concept.
For us, yes, that's the hope, I think, is to foster to adopt.
Can
We
you
had kind of
do
looked.
foster care? Can you just
Um,
foster and
you
not?
can just do foster care. Yeah. So a lot of people are just foster parents. So they feel pulled to just be that home that's the in between and just give them the support and love until they can either reunite them with their family, which is kind of the number one goal for most people, is reunification, as long as it's healthy and, you know, the parents find the help that they needed. Or or hopefully adopt if not, or
Yeah.
help them find an adoption home, an adoptive home. So yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. Well, I'm so excited for you guys. I hope that
Thank you. I'll keep you
guys can
updated.
improve. What, say that again?
Oh, I said I'll keep you updated at the track. I don't know. I told Joey, I said it's kind of funny because I said I feel like one day we're just going to show up with a kid and people are going to be like, "Who's this kid that's just shown up?" You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, they'll be, embraced by all those kids that, all our kids that are at the track playing with each other. And that's what's funny is I don't think that even when our kids are playing with each other out on the playground and stuff, it's just kind of, I don't know. Those are the moments that I feel like people obviously would love to see, which is private. And that's something too I wanted to ask you about. You're private on Instagram. Is there a reason that you've decided to just, oh, it says Joey Logano's recording has stopped.
Oh, are we back? Okay. Yeah. Um Oh, I think we're going. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm private on Instagram just because, to be honest, I think I'm not very active on social media in general. I think truthfully, I'm just bad at it. Like, I think I'm just not good at like posting things and taking pictures. I mean, even in my camera reel, I feel like I don't ever like take out my phone to take a picture. I'm just really bad at that. Um, and then
No,
I
what you're
think
good at is the moment.
I think I hope so. I mean, I think I take criticism okay too. Like, I don't know if any negative comments, like if they were there, if they would bother me. But at the same time, I don't know if like I want to fill my headspace or like any
Yeah.
of my life, anything like that. And I guess, um, I don't know. But then at the same point, I guess doing like a podcast and something like this and sharing what's on our heart about foster care and like I just shared with you, I think that there's a lot of weight to that and a lot of like good in that. And so social media I think is and can be a great platform, but I guess I just don't feel that for myself. And I think Joey uses it well and his foundation and everything, but for me that's kind of why I just don't feel like the pull to have to or want to do it, I guess.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. It's definitely a balance of just sort of putting things out there and letting it be and not getting too wrapped up in it. And there are moments where I've been someone sifting through comments and then I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, it is what it is. And I'm not as absorbed or consumed by it, but we all have our seasons of that. Um but I wanted to ask you, just so everyone can understand a full picture of how you and Joey met, because you've been together for so long, but how did you first meet?
So I was an ice skater. I was an ice skater since I was 6. And then his family,
I
his
hope
sister.
I skate so bad, and you need to tell me how do I even get her involved
Yeah.
in that.
Oh my
She,
gosh, I could totally help you with that. Oh,
yes,
you call me. Yeah, yeah, we can definitely get her all set up. That's easy.
yeah,
The hard part is that you have to be there every single day, and it's so early. And the Kozlowskis, I think, were getting Scarlett into it for a minute. And I told Paige, I was like, "You're gonna have to drive. It's like an hour away. You have to
yeah,
stay there for a few hours and then drive back, and that's like every day of your life, you know." And if
yeah,
you have kids and other things, I'm like, oh, okay, it's a time commitment, like any sport, I guess. But I was an ice skater and I competed and did all the fun things. And then I worked at the ice rink too. I worked in like the little cafeteria, like back area. Like I fried the French fries and the chicken nuggets and all the things. And I loved it. Like I started working there when I was 14. The rink opened when I was 14. There was a smaller rink in Pineville that I used to skate at, and then we switched over to the new one when Joey and his family they moved from Georgia and built this beautiful ice rink in Indian Trail, and his sister skated. And so I actually met his sister first, and I remember being out on the ice, and she came out and she was like, "Hey, I want to introduce you to my brother." And I was like, "Okay." And I guess Joey had like seen me skating or something. I was like, "Hey, can you introduce me to that girl over there?" So I skated over, and he was so awkward. He like put out his hand. He was like, "Hi, I'm Joey." And I was like, "Hi, I'm Brittany." And that was it. And then like me and Danielle, his sister, started talking, and it was just like a very awkward, like he was just standing there, and I was like, okay, well, bye, you know. And then forward like a few months, and we went to a Christmas party for the ice rink at someone's house, and I went to like sit down in the living room, and he pulled the chair out from under me, and I fell like in front of everybody. And like I was 15, right? I was 15, he
Yeah.
was 16, and at that time I was pretty embarrassed. I was kind of like, "You're a jerk! Like who does that? I just fell on my butt." Everybody, yeah, these are my coworkers. This is my profession. Like at that time, I'm 15 and this is what I'm going to do with my life. Like you need to respect, you know? And
Yeah.
so he like helped me up, and he was like, well, I'll make it up to you and we can go ice skating tonight at the ice rink. And that was like super cool to me because the rink was shut down. So he
Yeah.
was like, I know someone, we can open the rink, you know? So he took me there, and it was a whole like Happy Gilmore moment. Like the lights were low, and he like held my hand and asked for my phone number and the whole deal. And he used to drive the Zamboni there. So it was a whole vibe, you know, it was fun. And we dated for a little bit, and then we broke up and dated other people for a hot minute because we were young, and we got back together. I was 19 when we got back together, and then we've just been together ever since. So
Yeah. That's so
yeah.
cute. So what was like your first kiss? When
Oh
was
my
it
god.
like or on a date? Was it the Zamboni night?
So no, it wasn't the Zamboni night. We met at Concord Mills, and there was a Chili's that used to be there. And my parents, I was only 15. So my parents were like, well, we're going to go to dinner with you guys because like, we don't know this kid, and like, let's just
Yeah.
meet him, everything. So the four of us went to dinner, actually the five of us, because I think my brother was there. It was really awkward because I mean, Joey's already, especially when he was 16, he was already really quiet and shy. And then add like my parents and my brother to the mix. And it was just like this very awkward time at Chili's. So we sat there, we did the thing. And then he's like, well, let's go see a movie. And we went, and at the, then we could go by ourselves. So I was like, okay, this will be better. So we went by
Yeah.
ourselves, and we're sitting in the movie, and he asked if he could kiss me. And I was like, okay, like, sure, you know? And he did. And it was so sweet, but he had never kissed anyone before. And I think I had like kissed one person. So
Oh,
neither
you
of us.
were his first kiss? That's the
Yeah.
cutest thing
And he
ever.
would kiss me. And it wasn't like the noise that you would make. It was just like a love tap, like a, you know.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, okay. And I giggled a little bit, and he was super self-conscious. It was a moment. And we tried again, and yeah, but that was our first kiss moment. So it was
Oh,
I mean, now I laugh about it, and I love that story because I feel like that tells more about Joey than anything because he's just a sweet person. Like that's just who he is. And people don't get to see that side because they see the competitive side. And he's also very competitive, you know? And I get to see the sweet side. Like you get to with Ty, right? Like we get to
yeah.
see those sides nobody else gets to see, you know?
You know, I will say, I feel like I've seen a bit of that in Joey and you and your relationship. I think that, like, one time my mom and I were walking in New Hampshire. This was 100 years ago. I don't know, probably 6, 7 years ago. We were walking in New Hampshire, and you and Joey were walking. We were just like, there's been so many moments like this with you and Joey, but we were like, what are you guys gonna do? And you guys were like, well, we got a fondue maker, and we're gonna go do fondue in our motorhome. And I was like, I love them. They're gonna go back to their motorhome, do fondue. No one would ever imagine, like, people just probably picture Joey, like, even in his motorhome, in his driver's suit or something. Like, he's like, what, not knowing that he is such a, like, just a normal guy, sweet, nice, you guys have such a sweet relationship. And like Ty and I too, there's been so many moments where we're riding around on the golf carts, and we're like doing, going to look at the sunset, and we'll like pull up, and we're like, oh, there are Joey and Brittany looking at the sunset, like it's just refreshing that you guys are obviously besties. And that is something that Joey said I was looking at this video where he said the most important decision you'll ever make in your life is the person you choose to go to battle with, and that's you. And I just think that is so true. And you guys, I think that for Ty and I, we are best friends, and you and Joey are clearly friends, and that is why you guys are so, infectious. It's so sweet, and people maybe don't know that. Like, I loved that speech he gave when he talked about, you are his support. And what does that look like? I mean, does he get upset? I mean, does he come back after a crappy practice and talk to you about it? Or during the week, if he had a bad race the weekend before? I mean, how do you support him in the low times? Does he seek you for that support? Or is he more of a guy that goes and talks to his team? Or does he have a coach or a therapist? I mean, what does that look like for you guys?
Hard. I feel like that's hard. Like it's hard for all of us. And I don't know if I'm sure it's different for everybody, but to be honest, like he comes home upset. Yeah. But I
Yeah.
don't feel like we spend too much time talking about it together because to be honest, I've been in the sport a good amount of time like you have, but I don't feel like I'm super educated on much of it. So I don't feel like I can like give him words of like wisdom or even affirmation, like other than just on his character and who he is. So
Yes.
I'm just like, you're amazing and you're a great husband and you're a great daddy. So I think at some point he realized, like, I'm not getting anywhere with this chick on like racing stuff. And so he doesn't, I mean, he'll act upset and he'll tell me some things, but I feel like that is more he goes and talks with Paul, his crew chief, and his team, or he'll call Coleman, which is his best friend and his spotter, and they'll talk about that stuff. And I honestly feel like that's healthier because as you know, I think this sport already it takes a lot. It definitely gives us a lot, but it takes a lot of time and out of our lives. And so I feel like him coming home, being a little upset and us just moving on, I think is healthy and good just for our relationship and for our family. So I don't think we spend too much time consumed with the
Yeah.
issues that he has on the track. And I think that he does a really good job too of like coming home, he'll be upset and then he shuts it off,
Yeah.
and I think that they do that because they already like again, they already spend so much time at the track. And then during the week, I think something that people don't see is they go to the race shop. Like Joey works a pretty much a 9 to 5, 8 to 5 through the week too. And then he goes on the weekends. And I feel like so many people think that, oh, it's just a 2 to 3 day a week job and they just travel on the weekends. And I'm like, no, like
Never.
Race for us, they're all the time. They never stop, even in the off season. Like I feel like they're very busy. They still do stuff. They have to do promo stuff and all the things for the following year. And so they're always busy,
Yeah.
So I think the fact that he can shut it off when he does walk through the door for the most part is super helpful, like for our whole family.
Yes, that's good. That's very good. And he has had such amazing success, clearly. I mean, it's been so. Did you ever anticipate that? Like when Joey is doing, when you guys are going on that ice skating date, are you like, or it's okay, that's a little early on, but when you're getting married, well, no, you had already been together for quite a while and experienced it. When you first started coming to the track with him, like,
Yeah.
what was that like? You had known him since he was 15. You had known he was doing racing, but did you anticipate, did you want to have kids? Did you expect that this would be the life that you would have? Like, is this the life that you wanted, or what was the evolution of that like for you, thinking, I'm going to be this professional ice skater, or whatever your
Yeah.
desire, your visions and dreams were? What was it like for you, and has that been like a huge transition, or did you always think I'd get married and have kids and have this
Yeah.
husband that would be this huge
Right.
success and everything? Like
Yeah.
what is it like for you?
I feel like, isn't that just like a God thing? Like, really? Because I feel like you have all these plans. Everything's a God thing, but like this in particular, me and Joey have talked about a lot because, when you get married and you have kids and you follow their dreams and their careers, you kind of, at least for me at the beginning, I kind of felt a little lost
Yeah.
because that wasn't my dream. I didn't know who I was going to marry or what any of this was going to look like. And then you definitely don't anticipate marrying somebody that is in a sport and in the spotlight. And you don't anticipate any of that, you know? And so for me, like I was an ice skater and I realized I wasn't going to the Olympics. I wasn't anything spectacular. So I went to college and I got my degree in psychology and sociology, and I wanted to get my master's and be a counselor. Like that was my goal. And so I worked up until like we had kids and everything like that. And then it was really hard for us to balance. So of course one of us had to stay home, and obviously he made more money. So I stayed home. And so it's just kind of progressed. But I feel like if you took me back to like 15 years ago and you told me what my life was going to look like, I would have been like, no way, you know, because to be honest, when we first got together, I wasn't even sure I wanted to have kids. You know, I kind of was selfish and I wanted to have my career and my dreams and aspirations fulfilled. And then I remember I got diagnosed with PCOS, and like I wasn't having regular cycles and all those things. And they told me, they're like, I think it's going to be really hard for you guys to conceive. And so at that time, I feel like when somebody tells you that, all of a sudden, like it was like a light switch. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
well, wait, I think we want kids. I think I do. I'm pretty sure I do now, you know? And so then we started trying because I was nervous that it was going to take us a while. And it did. And so that,
Did you try before you
we
started
tried
going to
for, let me think. I want to say we tried for like 2-ish years. And then we started IVF. And then we got pregnant with Hudson, and we did IVF with Jameson. And then,
You cut out. I'm sorry. Can you say it again? You started
oh no,
trying.
you're fine.
You tried for how long before
Yeah,
you?
we tried for maybe just maybe 2 years. But I don't know about
Oh,
you, but like for us, like for me, that felt like forever, because
yeah.
when you're told, oh, it may not happen, then you, especially with that first baby, you're like, but I just really want to grow my family, and you get just nervous and scared and all the things, and so it felt like a lifetime. But we had Hudson, and then we did IVF and had Jameson, and then Amelia was just kind of like a miracle baby, and she came naturally, and she is
Wow.
just mint here. But yeah,
Yeah. So with Hudson, did you do IVF?
we did. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
I remember we were super pregnant at the same time. He's
yeah,
7.
yeah. Yes. So is
What
Oakley, right?
was his birthday? Oakley's is November. He was December?
Okay, January,
January.
January 5th.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I knew
'Cause
they were really close.
I can remember going to your shower and being like 1,000 months pregnant, and you were still just like really cute,
Oh my
pregnant.
gosh.
I was gigantic. I don't.
Oh,
I'll have to go
oh,
back and look and see how far along I was at that point. But I remember I knew they were very close in age, and
yeah.
so you,
Even Captain. How old is Captain?
yeah, Captain's 4. I feel like Jameson and Captain's birthday is in October 2020.
Okay, and Jameson's May 2020. So they're pretty close too.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And then Amelia was your little surprise
Yeah, she
miracle.
was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Yep.
little girl. That's
I
so,
know. And that's why, to be honest, we thought like we are for sure done, like close down the factory. I don't want to be pregnant. And then kind of everything started happening with the foster care adoption stuff. And that's why I was like, no, no, like God, no,
yeah.
we're not doing that. I feel like you have like these arguments, like at least I do, like with him and in prayer, and with Joey, and we both just looked at each other and we're like, we're no, like we're not going to do this. And he's
Yeah.
just, I feel like, has been pulling us, and he's like, no, but you need to, you know. And
Yeah.
so, that's where we're at. So our fight with God, and we lost.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's the whole we make plans and God laughs thing.
Yeah.
But was it Amelia that you were super duper pregnant when he was at the Clash?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as he won the clash, and then he came home that night, and we went to the hospital the next day and had her.
That
And
is,
so, yeah.
and he made it. Like, because that was one of the things he was worried. You know, she is so pregnant, and I'm gonna put her in labor from doing this race. And didn't he win?
He did. He won. Yeah. It was like a whirlwind of a weekend. But
Yeah,
and he had talked about it before he left. He's like, should I go? Should I stay? What should I do? And I was like, just go. Just do if I go into labor, like I'll call you. And it was hard because it wasn't like Bowman Gray this year where it's like, hey, I can drive down the road and go meet you at the hospital. Like, no, it's like a whole 8 hour ordeal by the time they get on the plane, get over and drive back home. So, but I was like, you're in labor for a good amount of time most of the time. So it was
yeah.
only our third baby. Like, what could have happened? It was fine.
So were you? You ended up. Did you end up with Hudson? You had sort of an emergency C-section, I want to say, and then ended up
Yeah,
having.
Jameson. So with Hudson, we had him like normal. With Jameson, I ended up having an emergency C-section. They said that his heart rate was dropping and they needed to get him out. And I was like, okay. So we did the C-section, and then with Amelia, I really wanted to do a VBAC, and so that's what we did, and it went perfect. It was great.
That's so awesome. I had two VBACs. Oakley was my um, C-section after the whole long ordeal of trying and pushing for 3 hours, and it was just we weren't getting anywhere. Knowing what I know now, I think I could have handled things differently, and probably could have gone differently. But it all happened for a reason, and she was here and healthy, and then I had VBACs with the boys. So um,
Yeah.
so cool that you decided to still do that. And they are the cutest kids, and they're such a combo of you guys, which is so so interesting. You know how like some kids you look at them and it's like, oh, that's dad, that's mom, but I really
Yeah.
see both. And then
Yeah. Oh,
your mom is like looks like your sister. I mean, you guys get that all the time. She looks like your sister to you
yeah.
guys. You guys look alike, and she just looks so young. And I mean, what is it? Do you have any beauty tips for us? Like, do you have a, amazing skincare regimen that we need to know about?
She gets asked that all the time. Honestly, she just takes care of herself. Like she works out every day and she eats right and all the things. But I'll tell you, every time we go somewhere, like me, my mom, like and Amelia, everybody always thinks that Amelia is her daughter because they look so much alike. Because Amelia has like that long blonde hair and she's super fair skinned and green eyes. And my mom like has blue eyes and blonde hair and so I'm just this little adopted child over here. I don't know. I mean, so
So
it's kind of
cute.
funny, but yeah.
Yeah, that is so cool. So you guys have been married for 10 years now. Did you do anything for your wedding anniversary?
We stayed at the Davidson Inn, like right in downtown Davidson. It's like
Uh,
where like
Heard
Madrid
of
and
it.
stuff like that. Yeah, so we went and we stayed the night there. I mean, it's literally like 5 minutes away from our house, but we
Yeah.
stayed the night there and we got tattoos that night. I'm not a big tattoo person myself. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm just not big on them. But Joey forever has like been like, I want to get a ring tattoo. So that way, like if when he gets in the car, he doesn't have to wear his ring. And I was like, okay, well, let's just do it together. So he
Yeah.
like set an appointment for our 10-year anniversary and we got ring tattoos. And so like I don't know if you can see it, but we got little like east-west crosses and we got matching ones. And so he's so funny because now he's like, I don't have virgin skin, and he has to show everybody like his tattoo. He's
Yeah.
such badass. So
Do you guys have any other tattoos, or is that the only one?
no, that's the
Yeah.
only one. Yeah, I think for me, like that will be the only one. I'm just not big on them for myself, but yeah, it was fun. It was a good night. We went to dinner and did that, and we felt so cool at dinner, just like looking at each other's tattoos.
Yeah.
We're like, look at this, we're tatted up, we're so cool.
Yeah.
So
That's That's cute. We don't have any tattoos, but the one we have talked about is doing something like that.
Yeah.
We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary too. We got married. I remember getting married very close together.
Right.
Did you get married in December as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
We got
What's the date?
married December 20th
Okay, we're
of
the 13th.
2014.
Yeah. Yeah, we're the 13th.
Yes, 12, 13, 14. That's right. We
Yeah.
couldn't have that weekend.
So,
It
so
was
what
busy.
did you guys, oh, yeah. So what did you guys end up doing for your
We
anniversary?
Oh, for our anniversary, we went to Washington, or we went to Whistler. We were out in Washington and we drove up to Whistler and we stayed there for 2 nights and snowboarded. And we both I ski and snowboard, and we were so relieved. Like, we both talked about it later, that last run of the day, we both were like, phew, neither one of us got hurt, you know? Like, you hear all
Goodness.
these stories. I mean, I think it was Chase Elliott broke his leg snowboarding or something. I don't remember what the situation was, but I'm like, you cannot get hurt. I mean, even when we're like playing pickleball, I'm like, you've got this opportunity. Don't you don't you go and like tweak
Yeah,
your knee or something, you know?
I know. How exciting for you guys too. That's amazing. Like, and I'm so happy that we see you guys at the track still and like that he
I
got that
know.
opportunity. So amazing.
I know I was saying this the other night at that event we had gone to, but it's like it's the 9 lives of NASCAR for us. And it's like wild how we've just kind of come in and out of full time. And, this will be his 7th year full time, I think. Anyway, it's just, and it's been for 13 years that we've been together. He's been racing. So it's just been such a journey. That people ask me this all the time, like, do you get nervous? Like, when I watch the race, I like to be alone. Like, ideally, I would love my kids to be watched. I want to be able to absorb and watch it myself. I don't want a big crowd. But then like I hear some of the people love to like have a bunch of people over to watch, and I don't know. I You would think it would get easier, and maybe it's just because of Ty's journey and the how it's been unique, that I've gotten more nervous through the years. Like, I think it is harder for me now than it's ever been. Is it easier for you now to watch him, or how do you feel?
I think the kids have, like you said, I mean, ideally it would be great to just sit and watch the race. But to be honest, the kids have made it easier for me as far as like I can't focus on the race. So I feel like I don't end up getting like it sounds bad, but like super crazy into it during the races because they're all running around like crazy and I have to go chase them. So like I have my phone with me and I'm trying to listen to him and I'll peek over at the TV and then one's
Yeah,
running one way and we end up watching honestly most of the races at MRO when we're at the track because the
yeah,
kids can play and I can kind of watch and have my phone and and listen to him and stuff. But I'd say it's gotten easier with that. I still hate like Daytona, Talladega. I feel like everyone just sits and waits for
yeah,
the big one, and that's nerve wracking. Um, but otherwise, I mean, yeah, no, not too much.
yeah.
Not with the kids now.
Here, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You are.
I
I'm
feel for you
happy
though.
for
I'm like,
you
oh,
for, not stressed
I think
during
you're
it.
right. I think that journey and then you being Ty's like support system and always there for him and everything that you guys have gone through, I feel like that has amplified, like you said, probably even more so because it's like I mean, you want it for them so bad,
Yeah,
and like I definitely that, and you know what it's like when they come home and they are upset and for their spirits, and so that's hard, and then it's hard on the whole family. It's hard on everybody,
yeah.
and then you have to kind of lift him back up. Like that's a lot.
Yes. Well, and we do, like you were saying, where you guys don't let it get to, it doesn't run into your week and affect you guys. Like, I would say if there's ever a rough race weekend, a Monday is kind of like slow, not super thrilled, but we get over it fairly fast too. And the nice thing about racing is it's so fast. The next week, it's just like, well, let's move on,
Right.
you know? And even when it goes well, it only is for a week. And when it goes bad, it's only for a week. And you just kind of
Yeah.
move on to the next one. So I think that, you know, we do a good job of sort of putting it away and not worrying about it too. But yeah, it's been a bit of a journey for us. But so what does it look like for you guys? How do you get to the track? Like, do you guys have a plane, have a team plane? What do you do? And then how many how many races do you take your kids to? And do you ever sneak away? Like what's your whole weekend?
Yeah. So typically Joey takes the team plane, and it used to be me, Joey, and Hudson that would be able to take the team plane, but now we have grown our family, and so we're not all able to go on the team plane. So now we end up taking Victory a lot. It's like a, the NASCAR like kind of fleet of planes that everybody kind of gets on the teams and everything. So we fly that most weekends. He'll fly Wheels Up, like a little charter plane every now and again too. But I kind of married like the worst person for my fear because I really don't like flying.
Oh
And
no.
so I know, but we face it, we do it, and and it's fine. But so yeah, so that's kind of how we end up getting to the track. How do you
Yeah,
guys get there? Do you do
we're
Victory?
Victory. Yep. We're Victory Air. Every now and then we'll try to fly with Richard if he's going, which is fun and bougie. And then but
Yeah.
typically I'd say that's maybe twice a year for us,
Oh,
but typically we go Victory and yeah. And Victory Air is always interesting. You know, you get on there and those guys have been working so hard and then you've got your kids that are like fighting or screaming or like have you ever been in that situation?
oh, every single weekend. I feel that it's like pressure. Like
Yes,
Joey goes
like
into the weekend
be
feeling
quiet,
this
these
race
guys are
pressure. And then I feel kind of dumb, like bringing that up to Joey because I'm like, I don't know, I just feel bad for the guys, and like I get nervous, and then I feel bad saying that to him too because I'm like, you're so nervous all the time. Like you guys have to do this every week and have so much pressure on you, like for the whole week, and for your weekend and the day you have to race. And here I am talking about like pressure on an airplane with my kid, but yes, I really do feel
it's
that
real.
it's real.
Yeah.
Yes,
When
yes.
your kid is like deciding to have a fit over something on one of those like 2 hour planes, 2 hour
Oh,
victory flights, and those guys are, it's 7 a.m. and they're all the windows are shut and they just want to like sleep or watch a show and I get it and I respect it, but it's usually not the flying out, it's usually the flying home. It's always the flying
oh,
home ones that I'm like, I'm sorry, I know it's late and you guys have just worked your ass off all weekend and especially if they're like is a team that isn't happy or whatever, you're just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Here I am with my three loud children. Uh,
yes. Oh yeah,
it's
I feel that. I totally feel that. Or it's like you see people from other teams that maybe like that weekend Joey had like a little run in with, and I'm just like it's very like awkward. Like I'm like, oh hi, I don't know. It's
yeah.
just whole dynamics are strange because I feel like with like a basketball team, they all fly together. They all like are very like cohesive and know each other and fun. And with us, it's so different because I feel like all the guys compete with each other, but then they go to MRO and all the kids play together, but the guys like don't necessarily they're not all friends. So like people ask me about that dynamic all the time, and I'm like, well, with the wives and the kids, like we all talk and the kids all play because if not, it would make for some long, lonely weekends at the track. So it's different. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I don't think that people necessarily understand that concept, but when we go victory, like you guys, it's not it's not commercial, so it's not you don't have to do TSA and all of that, but it is not glamorous. It's a very small, very tight plane. These are all big men and, they're in this tight quarters and then it's all different jumbled teams. So if
Yeah.
there is some sort of a spat on the track, you're getting on the plane, like they're very well, you could be on the flight with those people. So it doesn't just end at the track. It's like an odd hours home situation, it carries on.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. It's strange. But yeah, and then as far as like going to the races, just the two of us, we try to pick like 1 to 2 a year that's just us that I'll go to, which that's kind of new for us. We probably started that 3 or 4 years ago and I love it. Like I feel like that's so healthy
Oh,
and needed because I mean, you try to do like the date nights and it just doesn't happen every week. For us it's maybe every other week and we really have to like try and push for that just with his schedule and the kids schedules and everything, so to be able to have like uninterrupted like 2 to 3 days, it's nice
oh,
even if he is working. Yeah.
it's so nice. And it's just such a nice break for you with those kids. I never realized how tired I am until you just are going and going with your three kids. And I never realized until those weekends when I go, I'm like, oh, I get to relax. This is so nice.
Right.
I'm not,
Not get up and make somebody else food all the time. Yeah, you get to just like sit and like make yourself food and watch a show like just that you want to watch that's not Bluey. I mean, granted, Bluey is really cute. Like we
it is
really do
cute.
love Bluey.
It'll
And
bring tears. Even I
it
have definitely sat there and gotten so sucked in and cried over Bluey.
yeah, yeah, it's super cute. Yes, but yeah, it's definitely
So,
nice to just go with weekends.
so what's a date night look like when you guys get one when you're at home? Do you guys, our go-to spot is Epic Chop House. I mean, what do you guys do? Do you go out to dinner?
I don't feel like we ever like go to Epic, and we may need to try that. We tried it, but it was years ago. We may need to do that again. So we end up going to Choplin's a lot off Exit 28.
Yeah,
It's so and I
that's
feel like it's very like forgotten about, but it's so good. And they have this like crab cheese fondue thing. Again, fondue, bring it back to the
you guys
fondue.
are fondue people.
We're fondue people. Yeah. And so we do that. Joey loves massages. So we'll go. I like them. I'm not as like big on them,
Yeah,
but he like them. So we'll go do that. Or like we'll go play putt putt or go try to like do an activity, like something fun, like go play laser tag together. I know it sounds funny, but like we like
no,
doing kids stuff. Yeah, and so we'll do stuff like that together, and it's typically just like dinner and then like a fun activity of some sort. So
that is good. We are lucky if we can get a dinner and then we will drive around and like look at houses because we just want the babysitter to put our kids to bed.
yeah, yes,
You know?
yes, I feel
So we
yeah,
will just try to buy some time so that we
yeah.
don't have
But
to put our kids to
just like
sleep.
so special, even if it's just sitting in the car and like driving around and talking. Because
Yeah,
like when you have kids, I mean, you're in the car, you're driving, and your kids are in the back, and they're like, "I want a water. That's not my water." Like at least for us, Amelia's like, "I want the purple water," and it's not full, and it's this and it's that, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Like you can't get a word in edgewise. Like if Joey's in the car and we're all in the car, so
it's the second you're trying to have a real conversation, they are like, no, 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 no. I need your attention right
yeah,
now. It's so important.
yes,
It's,
yes,
a bluey or something.
I know.
Oh my
Hmm.
God. Yeah. When you go to the motorhome on the weekends, do you guys eat out or do you cook? Like, do you like to cook? Does Joey like to cook?
Joey, no. And then even me, Haley, I look up to you so much because like you post your cooking videos and I've actually made some of the stuff that like you've posted about because I'm like, I don't know how you do it. Like that's so good. And I feel like I'm a very like simple person because I don't want to put that energy in and like I don't have the mind for like a cooking mind, like to put stuff together and have it taste good. I feel like if I put stuff together, it just wouldn't taste good. But anyway, so I end up making very simple. Like I'll make like chicken and rice and vegetables. Like, but we
Yeah.
do end up staying at the track, and I cook pretty much breakfast, lunch, and dinner every now and again. Like there's a few restaurants at different tracks that we go to that we really like. So we'll go out maybe once throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we just stay at the track and I
Yeah,
make whatever's there, but it's very simple stuff. And then the kids are very simple. They're like mac and cheese and grilled cheeses and stuff. So,
totally. Do you have a favorite track?
um,
Cool.
I'd say probably somewhere up north. Like I love New Hampshire. I
Love.
love Michigan. I
Yeah.
feel like the antiquing around there is really cool. I feel like the food is it is better. Like, and I think that that definitely has to do with just like it's snowing all the time. Like they just are like, what do? We gotta be in and we gotta cook, you know. And so the food's
It's very
great, and the
valid.
landscape, yeah, and the landscape's so pretty. Like when we go, because when we go up north, you know, it's like typically like nicer weather, so it's just beautiful. So I'd probably say those two tracks are my most favorite. But also those are the tracks that we don't go to much anymore because MRO doesn't go, and so we don't end up going. But maybe that should be like one of our weekends
You're
this
sneak
year. I
away.
don't.
Yeah. Have you ever
Yeah.
gone to the Castle in the Clouds in New Hampshire?
No. What
I
is that? Is that a restaurant?
sure. It is, yeah, I think it is New Hampshire. I will double check. It is a castle built 130 years ago or something. I don't know when it was built, but it's an old castle that I don't know the history, but they have an amazing restaurant and it has the most amazing view. Yeah, it's gorgeous. You guys would love it. You should definitely try and go
Oh my
there.
gosh.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to look it up like as soon as we're done, and then that's
Oh,
going to be our weekend that we go. That
Also,
sounds so good.
is it New Hampshire that's Lake Winnipesaukee?
Yes. And they
Yeah.
have that. Have you seen the little drive-in movie across the way from
Yes.
there? The little town with the drive. Yeah, it's so cute.
So
Oh my gosh,
cute.
I don't know, it's just like a different vibe up north. I feel like everything. It's just totally, yeah, it's great. So I'd say those are my favorite for sure. Yeah.
I
How about
agree.
you? You
Um,
do? Okay.
I agree. I think that those are probably a couple of my favorite, Michigan and New Hampshire. I love the time and the atmosphere when we're at Daytona. And the race is so exciting, but it's so
Yeah.
stressful, you know. But I do love the atmosphere, and usually our whole family goes, so that one's always really fun and big. When do you guys head down to Daytona?
So Joey leaves Tuesday. Does Ty have to leave pretty early too?
Yep, he's we're actually all gonna go down on Tuesday. We're just gonna
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's so good.
yeah.
Yeah. That was actually kind of going to be our plan too. But then Hudson, we went to Disney this off season. So we did Disney, and then we came home and we had the aftermath of Disney, which is sickness. And so he was sick for a whole other week. So he literally missed like 2 weeks of school.
Oh,
So then like, oh, we can't miss any more school. So we're going to leave Thursday after school, which will be fine. But Joey will leave Tuesday. So we'll meet him down there next Thursday.
yeah. Have you guys had any like what are some of your highest highs you've had in and then is there any like lows that are relatable? You know, obviously you don't have to tell me your worst thing that ever happened in your relationship. But, like what was a low moment that you guys had to really dig yourself out of and what was like a moment that is like top 5 one of the best things that happened in your relationship? It doesn't have to be racing related, but like what are some of those highs and what are some of those lows that you guys have experienced together?
So I think it was 2020, and Joey had made the final four for Phoenix. And I flew out there, and I left Jameson because he was little, and I brought Hudson with me. And actually I was pregnant and nobody knew, and I miscarried during the race.
Oh,
And that is like, and we kind of knew it was maybe coming because my numbers were really low, and they had called me and they were like, well, we think that it may happen, but you know how those things work, like we're not sure, you know.
oh
And
my
so I remember
gosh.
like we were in a suite and I had Hudson with me, and actually Joey's parents were in the suite with us, and thank goodness there was actually nobody else in the suite, which is kind of strange because you would think Phoenix being the final four there would be more people, but there wasn't. And there was a bathroom like in the suite, And I just remember sitting there and I was like cramping really bad. And it was like during the race and I was already nervous because, it's the final four and you're already there. And then everything like just started happening. And I went to the bathroom and it was just like super painful. And so after he did not win, and so he came out of the car and he was already upset. And then like I didn't want to just throw that news on him too, because like, hey, we just had a miscarriage on top of everything, And so it was just like a very like strange, but I also needed to tell him because like I was going through that and I didn't, you know. And so I feel like that was just like a very low like week for us after that, like for both of us. And so yeah, I'd say that.
Right.
Um
I'm so
the
sorry.
whole like oh, it's okay. The whole IVF process. I mean, that's the thing. Like you said, everybody in life goes through stuff, and it's not even that we try to hide it. Like, I don't feel like we hide it. I just, probably like most people, we just don't share it unless we're asked about it or it's
Yeah.
something that somebody else has gone through and like we can share too. But you're right. Like we all go through stuff and we're all human beings and we all have our own battles. But I think that when Joey said it's like the most important thing is who you go to battle with, like that's 100% right. That's the most important thing is your spouse, because you raise kids with them, you do everything with them, and so if you marry the wrong person, it makes child rearing harder, it makes like your job harder, it makes everything harder. And
Yeah.
so to go through even the lows with that person, like we still somehow find like a way to put a smile on each other's faces or just hug each other and cry or whatever that is in that moment,
Laughter
and
seems important to you guys to find the joy and find the good in life. It seems like you guys, have the reality, the good balance of maybe it's putting on a funny show together and just being together and not letting, life get too serious, trying to just sort of love on each other and like one of the things I think I see you guys giggling and laughing together, and I think that that's really special that you have that friendship that we were talking about.
yeah, and I think you guys are the same way. Like I
Yeah.
feel like me and Joey think about you guys, and like it's like it's nice to have that. And it's funny you say like a show, like that's us. At night, I feel like we both try not to talk too serious about stuff unless we really need to. But if not, like we turn on Modern Family, like that's our show that we watch.
Love
And
it.
I think we like literally like we laugh out loud every time in bed. And like I swear Joey is Phil. He is Phil
Oh,
Dunphy. Like
he is
who
Phil
he
Dunphy. Yeah.
Yes. He's so Phil. And he says I'm Claire. And I probably am a little Claire-ish for sure. But like he's just so funny. And so yeah, laughter is definitely probably like you guys. It's big for
Yeah,
sure.
so important.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Do you guys, um, Ty and I have certainly had struggles in our marriage that we've had to go and seek counseling, and we're so grateful for those moments. For my therapist, I still talk to her once a week. Is that something that you guys have
Yeah.
ever done, maybe premarital counseling or anything like that?
Yeah, so before we got married, we did some premarital counseling, and I feel like that was great. And they did the little test with us. I'm sure that they did that with, I think they do it with everybody, like who you are as a person, who they are as a person, and then kind of like showing each of you like the, I don't know, all of your stuff together, whatever. So we did that.
That's really
Um,
interesting. We didn't do a whole lot of that, but I like that.
really?
That is a
Yeah.
great idea to sort of see
It
what
has
do you
like
see like.
personality
Yeah.
thing. Yes. And then it asks questions too, like maybe what bothered you about or what bothers you about your person that maybe you wouldn't like think about or say. Like I don't know. Like for me, I mean, I'm a terrible morning person, and like Joey doesn't really address that, which I appreciate. But like it made you address those things and then us talk about it. So I think that that was healthy, because I feel like we talk about most things, but I do think that we try to stay positive with each other. So I think that maybe I don't think we shove it under the rug, but maybe we do stuff like that. Like he's not going to say you are like the worst human being in the morning, because I am. And I'm not gonna say like, hey, you're a complete slob all the time. Like, I just clean up after you because I love you and we don't talk about it, you know? And so, yeah, I think that premarital counseling and counseling in general, like, does that for you, right? Like, it makes you talk about those things. Now, since we've been married, we haven't. Not saying we shouldn't. I feel like it's super healthy, but we haven't. He does see like a sports psychologist from time to time
Really
that I
cool.
know helps him, like his team and his crew chief and them work together, which I think is super helpful. But yeah, so.
Well, I think that you guys have a really great balance of you choose to see the best in each other. And I think that that is so important in marriage. You're focusing on the good with each other, and each other's not perfect. And I think that that's obviously evident with you guys, and it's very sweet and it's very admirable.
Knowing, like you guys, that the other person's intentions are not to be against you. Because I think that, like, innately, I think we all feel like somebody's trying to hurt us or attack us or, come at us. And I think that if you really think deep and think this person does not want to do that to me, they don't want to hurt me, they want to love me, they're not doing this to hurt me. I think that if, like, you change that perspective to that, I think that that helps a lot, because there are times where I'm like, he knows that he's supposed to pick up his underwear and his water bottles that he leaves everywhere, and he knows that, like, that really bothers me, and he doesn't do it. Like, he must be trying to just piss me off, but when I really think about it, I'm like, Brittany, that is so dumb. Like, why would he want to do that?
Yeah,
And so I just know his intentions are not to hurt me, and I think that keeping that always in mind is good, because they're our partner. They don't want to hurt us, and so I think if we can just talk about our issues with that person, and I think that you can get through pretty much anything.
totally. And choosing that person to go to battle with, it's you against the world. Not that you always have something against you, but it's same team. That's the most important thing about this is your teammate for life. That we're on the same team for for life, and that's the partner you choose. So that's really cool. Do you guys have any silly, like, nighttime regimens that you do? Like, do you sleep with a mouth guard, or
Oh,
any funny behind the
yeah.
scenes?
Oh my gosh. We're so hot when we go to bed, Haley.
Yeah.
Like, I have pimple patches on and my night guard. He's got a night guard. He sleeps with like 3 pillows, like one in between his legs, one at the bottom, one up above. Like, I like to sleep a little elevated. Like, it's a whole thing. And like, that's obviously progressed as we've gotten older, as like our aches and pains. Like, it's so weird. I feel like now, like, I wake up and I'm like, gosh, my back hurts. But like, why does my back, like, there's no reason for my back to hurt.
Yeah.
It just does. And so, like, your sleep, the way you sleep changes. And I've read, like, you have to sleep on your back now. So now I'm trying to, like, sleep on my back. And I tell Joey that I'm like, you should sleep on your back. It's going to
Yeah.
help you. And so, like, those conversations, and sometimes we talk about that. I'm like, if people could hear some of our conversations, they would be like, these people are crazy. Like, it's just so, yeah. But I guess everybody's probably like that. That's probably pretty relatable. Like, you guys are probably like that, right?
Oh yeah. We're super sexy when we go to bed with
Yeah.
the mouth guard,
Lingerie
nose
night.
things. Every night. I'm like, and every night it's like I choose the moment I put my mouth guard in to have a full blown lispy conversation with him. Like, I have so much to say the second I put it in.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I totally get it. Yeah. They still love us, I think. I'm pretty sure they
Yeah.
do. So,
Oh, well, it's been really fun to talk to you. Is there anything that you want to, you know, talk about, bring up, something that's important to you that, you're like, oh man, I wish we would have had a chance to talk about this. I mean, do you have anything like that?
I don't think so. We've covered a lot. It's been good. This has
It's
been fun. I feel like it's just been like girl time. It kind of stinks because I feel like during the off season and even like outside of racing, I feel like none of the girls all hang out because like we talked before, I feel like the guys aren't like super great friends.
I
And so that kind of
keep that attitude of like competition. And for me, I think that's a reason why I wanted to kind of do this, is because it's like, this is all such a vapor. This is all so temporary. And 10 years from now, well, maybe not 10, okay, 20 years from now, this is going to be a thing of the past. But the things that we can take with us are the relationships. And I think that's kind of why I wanted to do it, you know? And like you say, we don't get the time during the off season necessarily to see each other, because we all are also just absorbing that time that we're not on the road. You know, we that's our only chance to kind of get a moment to go somewhere or do something. And so it's so fun to be able to talk to you.
yeah, same girl. Yeah, this has been good.
Yes, well, thank you. I will definitely would love to talk to you again. You know, there's going to be Joey's bound to win a race one of these weekends. I can't wait to hear how it is on your side of things. And you know, I think people just would love to hear from you about like what's the weekend look like for you when those awesome race wins happen. And you know, this just I just have so much respect for you guys. And you've just got to be so proud of what you guys have accomplished, and you should be so proud of yourselves.
Thanks. I think that everybody has their accomplishments, right? Like we talked, like you and Ty just going through the ups and downs and the 9 lives of NASCAR, as you put it. You know what I mean? Like you guys have done a lot. So I feel like we said, I mean, you go to battle with your person, and that's just what you do. And you celebrate the highest of highs, and you get through the lowest of lows together. And so that's what we do. Hey, buddy. Hi. What are you doing? What are you doing? You want to say hi to Hayden? Hey.
Oakley
What
has
are
the
you
exact same
doing?
tooth missing right now.
Oh, yeah, you guys can ride. What time is it? Oh, 11. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, go ride. Yeah, yeah, I'll go pick them up. Yeah, the babies, I need to go pick them up from preschool, but Hudson, so Hudson has this talent show. Oh, there's somebody calling. Hudson has this talent show at school, and so they decided that he's going to ride his four-wheeler. And so the past like 3 days, they've been making this whole production video. Joey and him have been. I don't know. Have you seen Jim Connor before?
Uh-uh. I don't
It's
think
like it used to with Ken Block. It's like a drifting video or whatever. I don't know.
so.
And so Hudson calls his videos Kid Kana, and he
Oh,
does these drifting videos, and he's like super cool, and he has like it's super cute. So, anyways, they're gonna go work on their Kid Kana video for the talent show. So
oh my gosh, how fun. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. And we'll have to
yeah,
see you again for sure.
yeah, for sure, girl. All right,
Alrighty.
nice seeing you.